Hello, my beautiful heathenry. It has been a minute since we have played last. So, this is now the long-awaited video of JT explaining everything. So, I'm going to go through the entirety of the history. I'm going to go through the items, go through the gods, and I'm going to go through what's going on. I'm very excited to see you guys. I know I haven't been like great with communication, but that's just because I've been working literally every single day. You all have access to the Xandretta God doc, which says, "Hello and welcome. This will be the only document for everything on it. It will contain history, realms. I still need other realms and everything else." Shall we begin? I'm gonna get my water bottle actually. Sorry, I got out of my shift and then I just ate food and I haven't had any water today. Let's begin with the timeline. Year 0. Eden awakes in the darkness and wanders the abyss. So this is based out of how in Christian beliefs it's oh, God just was there. Eden just woke up and was I'm gonna do my own thing for 2 years. And by year 2, Eden creates her children. Archon, Demetrius, and Adrex. I think I changed that actually. I think it was it was Varlo. So her children are Archon, Demetrius, and Varlo. I thought I changed that. If I need to... Do I need to change it again? Hold on, let me check the... This is also my way of fact checking everything. Yeah, Archon, Demetrius, and Varlo. So I'm wrong. I'll fix everything accordingly, but you get the idea. Eden creates children, Archon, Demetrius, and Varlo. These will be known as the Sons of Creation. So for, it's like Pokemon, when Arceus creates, Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina. They're the creation trio, essentially. Year 7, this is obviously after they've grown and matured a little bit, not by much, because it's only been 5 years. The Sons of Creation create reality, life, time, space, and magic. Who's who? Let me check that actually, just so I can make sure I establish that. Do I have this? No, wait, hold on. I swear I had this written down. Where did I... Is it here? Oh, I think it's, in my bios. I'm still working on those. Those are gonna take forever. Archon is the son of creation known for chaos, power, and destruction. Demetrius, the son of creation, is known for being the god of magic in his purest form. Varlo, the son of creation, is known for space, time, and matter. So, Archon is chaos, and so Archon is power. So Archon is just Demetrius is the god of magic. So not all magic comes from Eden. No, how do I... Because Eden's the mother of everything. So Eden is Eden's god. Eden is Arceus. If we're thinking of... Sorry, I'm on a weird Pokemon kick right now. So, if Eden is Arceus, the Sons of Creation are the creation trio. So, Palkia and Dialga and Giratina are basically just Varlo. Anyways, I'm getting too much into that. The doc is there. This is just JT yapping about it. Year 7, they create everything. And so this is they went to the store and bought a piece of paper to draw. So, year 7 is them going to, Staples and buying, a canvas. And by year 8, they start working on that canvas. The realms were made with all the lands within them. Supreme Plane, Midgard, Infernus, Shadowfell, and Eden. I need to figure out... Because Point Zero isn't a normal dimension. It's a space that is used to maintain, capture things. I'll work on that later. What I'm thinking is that that's just the void. That's where they were at first. So it's... Oh, yeah, because, is there a hole in these shorts? I'll kill myself. Anyways, but then, so year 8, the realms are created. By year 11, the first races are created. The first human is Zar. The first dragon is Tiamat. The first demon is Blackblood. The first angel is Sarah, based out of Seraphim, not my girlfriend. And the first elf is Amelia. Emilia. Year 12. The gods tell the firstborn, the first races, to settle so that they can expand their people. Zar creates the first and oldest human city of Zalim. Tiamat creates the home of the dragons, known as the Northern Mountains. Blackblood establishes the Underworld and Shadowfell as his lands. But while he let both realms exist and grow, the only place he created was the Mountain of Souls, and now known as the Twin Peaks. I need to put that in. I forgot about that part. Explaining this. So Zar is the basically god of the humans. Tiamat is the goddess of the dragons. Blackblood. So while they all created their own realms, just interjecting here, Blackblood didn't generate the structures of the Shadowfell and Infernus. He left them as blank slates for the people and creatures of his realm to create it. Because A, he's greedy and lazy and doesn't want to do his own fucking job. And he saw the potential and power that his kin had. Obviously it's not happening yet, but like just something in him knew. Like, people will make this into something that I would have welcomed. The only thing he did create was the Mountain of Souls, which was the original way to get between the realms, so like between Midgard. So, at this point, actually, his history that's not in this, just in JT's little brain, the original jumping point between realms was supposed to be the Underworld because of the Mountain of Souls. So, if you were in the Mountain of Souls, you could get to Midgard, you get to the Supreme, you can get to the Shadowfell. But now it's Midgard, based on the fact that demons are, like, evil or whatever. No, fuck it, scratch that. That makes things too complicated. Forget that. Forget I said that. But the Mountain of Souls is a natural gateway between Infernus and the Shadowfell. I did actually put that in, like, a while ago, but I'm just reestablishing that. I tried to make a cool mechanic, didn't work. Anyways, Emilia establishes the magical island of Rosoka. Matt, that's a callback to you. So in the first iteration of the Xandrata campaign, Rosoka was the island of magic and mystery. You'll figure this out later. But it was like that was their driving point in the first campaign. Like, we need to get to Rosoka. We need to get there. There's something there. That's how we're going to make our stand against evil. But yeah, so the elves are on Rosoka. And then Sarah creates the holy temple of Lady Eden to give grace and praise to the true creator of everything. So the Supreme Plane had the temples, and the other Aasimars created it. Year 19, which is, I can't do math. 19, 18, 7. So 7, so... Fuck, I can't do math. So yeah, 7 years later. The firstborn started growing their population by grace of the sons of creation. This is JC's bullshit way of saying, hey, the gods helped. Because I'm not going to have some, like, they were fruitful, they were with their kids, and they're like, no, fuck that, no. The gods helped them expand their races and create creatures that were basically their offspring, but without fucking themselves. By year 20, a year later, Eden starts to fight with her sons because of their intervention with the mortal races. Eden has an idea to create a creature of pure creation and good that will constantly reincarnate. The sons of creation see this, and they decide to create a creature of pure evil and destruction. So this is where the idea of the Karai and the Calamity come in. Or salvation and damnation, whatever you want to call them. So Eden wants to have her sons not intervene with the people, because you'll learn this way later in the campaign. I think I've even mentioned it now. Matt, you've already known this, and anyone who's met Eden knows this. Since she keeps creating reality and other realities, she just wants people to exist. She wants them to live. She doesn't want there to be a world where they respect and worship the gods as they are. They would rather just have the gods be like... I'm trying to think of how I want to word this, because in my head it makes sense. Long story short, Eden doesn't want divine intervention. For some reason, she does not want it. She wants the mortals to grow because they are worshipping themselves and others with the ideals of the gods in mind, but are not like strictly being like, oh, I fear the gods, blah, 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 blah. Like, that comes later, but like at this moment in time, with Xandrata being this new and this young, Eden doesn't want the Sons of Creation to be like, hey, you're helping way too much. Like, let them do their thing a little bit. Year 21, the first Karai and Calamity are born. The first Karai being an elf named Remnant, and the first Calamity being a black dragonborn named Onyx, the Black Dragon. Call back to the first campaign. Actually, now in the history, so Remnant was the first Cry, which is the new mechanic, but in the original first campaign, the Black Dragon was like the strongest dude around. He was actually fused with Dreadlord Eclipse at the time in the first campaign. 3 years later, Onyx and Remnant have their duel that sealed the gods behind the Divine Sea. This is the first time the Swords of Salvation and Damnation are used. Revenant dies in the battle protecting Rusoka. So, at this point, because now this is like me explaining everything, so it's not in the world thing, so it's not like forever. And this gives you reason to watch this fucking video, guys. Not making it for me. Not making this for me. Sorry, I've spent weeks writing, and this session's gonna be awesome, but like, oh my god, it's gonna be a long session. Like, anyways, so what's happening now is, since they are, someone's texting me. Oh, texting me. So, with the summoning of the Swords of Salvation and Damnation, now the strongest items besides the godly weapons are present, and by something that I can't explain now, the Divine Sea was created. Not seal, sea. Remnant dies protecting Rusoka. So, since Remnant was an elf, she would have been close. Isn't she? I don't know if I gave Remnant a gender. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if I remember that. Anyways, Remnant, being an elf, would have served under Lady Amelia, being the elf on the island of Rusoka. But yeah, so Remnant died protecting their home. By year 30, the Genasi are created, and they begin to build their temples and many other structures. This is why there's random temples around. So the Genasi are the reason why there's random temples, there's structures, there's like... So it was them, dwarves, giants, humans... Yeah, so Genasi, giants, dwarves, and a lot of the Fae created structures around the realm. With no reason to mind, and it's not... My DM excuse is that it wasn't written down, but like, I don't care. For those of you who don't know, and for those of you, I mean, JT probably rewatching this at some point in the future, the Genasi are created by, the blessing of magic being infused with humans. So, the way I view the creation of Genasis are, a human is born, and the essence of magic chooses them. So, let's look at one of the Genasi leaders, Zephyr. Zephyr's the leader of the Water Genasi. Their right hand is Achilles. Zephyr was blessed by magic to be the leader of the Genasi. Because, no, that's not right, because Zephyr would not have been first. The first Genasi were blessed by magic and said, hey, you gotta lead. You're gonna, hey, like, magic was like, yo, I got a really cool idea right now. And this is also a way of Demetrius doing Divine Intervention, because magic is not... This type of magic is sentient, but most magic is not sentient. But there is sentient magic. We'll get into that at some point. I'm not having this conversation right now. A few years later, 17 years later, still no sight... So year 47, still no sight of the Cry's reincarnation, and Onyx still lives, using Rusoka as his den, placing it into a state of stasis. Now becomes the lost city of Rusoka. So at this point now, with Rusoka being like hidden and like decimated, and now under the Black Dragon's control, it has fallen into darkness, which is the opposite of what Remnant was. So Remnant was pure and good, and now that evil and darkness has controlled it, it has now basically vanished off of all magical radars, off of any map. It's just gone. It's just not there. The only way you can get to it is by boat now. Year 53. The Black Dragon's power slips into the demon realm, and now the demonic princes are born. Sparta, Eclipse, Darsa, and Syra. I like this bit a lot because it ties back into how Eclipse was also part of the Black Dragon. The way I'm going to try and justify this is, since Rusoka is such a magical place, with it being in stasis, Black's magic knew nowhere else to go but to a place of evil, so it just went to the other way. It was like, and there is a hole in these shorts. I'm just like playing with it. Year 54, a year later, the dragons are born and brought to... Oh, okay. So this part, year 54, is when the Dragon Guardians are created or born. So they were born into a they were born into orphaned play. They were born into not orphaned, fucking lower status dragons. They were born into their families. So they were Meliodas and Frieza. They were trained by Tiamat herself. That's a little bit of lore I want to run by Matt and Vance. I also need to find out when Tiamat lost the throne, because if she's still in control here, I don't think I've written that out. I'll figure that out, because I need to write when Matt became king of the mountains. Yeah, note for JT for later. Year 55, the spirits and angels start to appear. The archangels are created, Mael, Sariel, and Azrael. The Kitsune emerge and now grow from the now growing Feywild. Elaine is born. Year 56, Eclipse and Sparta have a fight resulting... Wait, what? Oh, Dreadlord Sparta. Eclipse and Sparta have a fight resulting in the creation of the Twin Peaks and a natural gate between the Shadowfell and the Underworld. Okay, so that's where that is. Okay. Year 61, the group is brought together for the first time and they realize... The group is brought together for the first time and they realize their means is to save the... What the fuck is... Was I high when... No, I wasn't high when I wrote this. They're... Whoa, hello, keyboard. Their fate is to save the realm. So this is where the party's brought to... The Guardians of Xandretta are brought together for the first time. And they're like, yo, we gotta go kill the Black Dragon right now. Like, on God. Year 77. The party makes their stand at Rosoka, kill the Black Dragon, become the Guardians of Xandretta. So, this is where gang becomes gang. So, Sariel... Wait, hold on, I gotta remember it. Sariel, Elaine... Yeah, Sariel, Elaine, Meliodas, Frieza, and Syra, they are like, okay, now, we're so back. We are so back. Year 78, Eden breaks her own rule and gives the Guardians divine power, now making them the Guardians of Xandretta and the patron saints of Eden. So this is where you get your divinity, blah, blah, blah. We're gonna add right here as year 79, because it goes from 78 to 80. So year 79, Meliodas becomes king, and Tiamat vanishes. Frieza was always going to be, like, the Draconian Temple Guardian, or whatever the fuck it's called. The monastery head. Whatever you want to call yourself, Vance, you were always destined to be that, but Matt became king. Because A, that is the Xandretta campaign. B, Matt's character has always found his way back to the Northern Mountains, so it's easy. So, year 79, Meliodas becomes king, Tiamat vanishes. Year 80, the Guardians take in a young orphan human boy named Malachi. So this is where you meet the orphan, the human Malachi. The Guardians are like, yo, this kid can copy magic. Let's teach him everything so he can become us, so he can, take our place when we're gone. Because they thought gods could die. Year 82, the Guardians teach the boy all they know in order to raise him as the next Guardian of Xandretta. So, he was destined with such power, with such potential. He was such a good guy. Malachi was never a bad guy. Malachi is just such a good-hearted dude. But year 83, Malachi vanishes and the new Calamity is born. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah, so when he vanishes, the Calamity is born. That is through something that I'm going to have to work out later, and I'm going to have to address that at some point in the future. But it's not going to be on this. It's going to be just a DM, like, boo, you know? Year 96, this is where you guys are coming in. Sparta and Mollymauk are born. Ultramose and Barbados hatch, and Meliodas, in his corruption, infuses the hatchlings with the magic of Archon. Meliodas, Syra, and Mael start to plan a staged war and create a super soldier with the corpse of Sparta's brother. So this is where, a lot of the events from last game started to happen. So, when Meliodas and Frieza had that conversation of, we're gonna become gods. We will make something that will kill everything. This is where it is, plotted that Molly Mock is to die. Year 98, Marin is born, Adam is born. With Adam's birth, the Karai begins a new life. So, yeah, so a few years after the Calamity is born, the Karai is also reborn. Year 100, the staged war of heaven and hell is had. Dreadlord Sparta is killed, the sword Blackblood is taken to the Supreme Plane, Molly Mock is killed and taken. So, that's where that all happens. I want to make sure this timeline actually... Yeah, Ziv's about 20. This makes sense. So Molly Mock is killed and born. Year 110, the Enigma makes a name for himself by discovering the legendary items, places in the realm by the gods behind the sea. And the Enigma makes a name for himself by discovering the legendary items placed in this realm. So, the reason why the Enigma is the richest man in Midgard is because he found the legendary weapons. He discovered them and, like, all their locations, blah, 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 blah. It's revealed later something about that. Year 118, the Enigma starts to learn of the kin of the Painted States of Eden. So this is where he starts learning about Marin, Adam, blah, 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 blah. Year 120, Experiment XIV escapes from the Supreme Plane and begins the search for the demon, dragon, and angelic princes. Year 120, you are here now. So you're in 120, you're near 121, blah, 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 blah. The God Power ranking. So, top dog, Eden, my boy. And then we got the Supreme, we got Archon, Demetrius, and Barlow. We got the Firstborn, because they are descendants of the sons of Eden, the children of Eden, something like that, I don't know. Zara, Tiamat, Black Blood, Emilia. And then we got the Guardians, because while they are not as strong as the Firstborn, they are stronger than the Karai and the Calamity. Kind of not. Syra, Sariel, Elaine, Melios, Frieza. They are the Guardians. Next in the power ranking is the Calamity and the Karai. The issue with this is base level Calamity and Karai is weaker than the Guardians, but the Calamity and the Karai have the ability to become as strong as the Supreme. But this is all base stats. Base stat weaker than the Karai and the Calamity. We have the Archangels and Demo Gods, Mael, Azrael, Sariel, Eclipse, Darsa, Syra. So this is where it gets messy, because Syra and Sariel are both also Guardians, they are also the Demon Gods and Archangels. And below them is the Genasi heads, Fire, Azar, Water, Zephyr, Earth, Terra, Air, Gale. The Genasi right hands, Fire, Yara, Water, Achilles, Earth, Daisa, Air, Nylar. So that's just like in the political sphere of your realm, that's the hierarchy. Because, like, dwarves, elves have their own, but, like, from where you are on your specific spot of the world, this is what's important to you. This is where the video's gonna get long. Legendary items. Excalibur, a sword. So, you can read these. There's a few I want to go over, though. They're all pretty straightforward, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, but if I were you, I would please look at the doc at some point. Here's the magic section. These are the natural forms of magic in the realm. Creation, destruction, obviously, allows you to generate something from nothing, allows you to destroy anything with a single touch. Energy control, so this is like the darkness, the light, Eldritch Blast type shit, and necrotic control, so like the using of undead energy. Allows you to generate magical energy that can be shaped as needed, blah, blah, blah. Elemental control, you all know what this is like fireball, water control, stuff like that. That's what Malachi has. Replication, a rare form of magic that allows user to copy any and all magic they see. Necrotic magic, the magic of death and darkness, allows you to control and raise the dead. Time magic, a rare magic that allows user to control time. Cancellation, a rare magic that allows user to cancel magical presences. Demonic magic, angelic magic, draconic magic, fey magic. This is Matt's present. Cursed magic. Only one case of this has ever been found in Sir Barbados. The user can generate their own domain / aura similar to what the gods do. Within this space, they can basically do anything they want, from phasing in and out of reality, teleporting around, as well as generating a new weapon known as Blackblood, sorry. So Matt, fun fact of the day. This actually hurts you. Using this magic actually damages your character, because it's so just ungodly powerful. I have some fun stuff I want to work out with you about this. But, yeah. So, how is this almost 30 minutes long already? Jesus Christ. I do want to... I'm going to work and type this at the same time. And I'm going to... So, we're going to add the abilities. L-I-T-I-E. Abilities. Hello, mouse. Abilities. So we got Dragon Rage, Bone Breaker, Full Counter, Limit, Breaker. God, don't. The ability is something we get to, because we all understand how these abilities work. Bone Breaker is a fun one, because it's only for Genasi. So, with Bone Breaker, this is a homebrew ability that I did. Genasis can break a bone in their body to allow their bone marrow to steep into their bloodstream. And their bone marrow is basically crack. Like, it makes you go like... I also need to make stuff for all your weapons. I'll do that at some point. Actually, I'll just pause this right now. Hey guys, sorry about that. I pressed the wrong button. So, I just finished all your weapon descriptions, and I have more lore that I need to get through before this ends. Matt, your weapon is the Blood Moon. The Blood Moon, the Sword of Screaming Gods, the blade that silenced Lady Death. This blade has been only seen in times of chaos and fear. It contains a form of magic only found inside its crimson glow. It has the ability of blood manipulation, mind control, and the blade channels the hottest flames across the realms. So Hellflame. Vance, the Heart of the North. The sword to start Ragnarok. This sword is only given to those who have made themselves worthy of its grace. It can generate permafrost, allow the users to summon storms of ice and death. And it allows their users to vanish and teleport short distances in snow. So, if you ever watched Ruby, like how she can turn into roses, you can turn to ice, you can go... but it's not like a long distance, you have to like come back, teleport again, come back, it's like the thing. Ziv's weapon is the Void Heart, the sword of the one who knows not what he is. The sword allows the user to channel magic easier through its blade. It also has the ability of energy control. So since Ziv can't wield his magic on a level that's like contained, he has to use it through the Void Heart. Lily, the Sword of Fallen Grace. The sword is found in the domain of Lady Elaine. It resembles a stone version of the twin swords of creation and destruction. This blade allows the user to generate and channel magic from memory. It also allows the user to tear into the world tree. So you can realm hop, and you can be like, oh, you saw something cool that you remember how to use it and you know what it is. You can be like, batter up, boom. Dan, the Tears of Heaven, my bad. This weapon was made in the mind of Master Adam. Seeing as the Sword of Salvation seems to have a mind of its own, he needed something that would also not reveal their location every time. This sword has magical portals that summon balls of chain blessed with divine steel. Also deals holy magic upon striking. For Sparta, Black Flame, the new sword of Sparta has Hellflame, Darkness, and Fast Strikes. I kind of dropped the ball on that one a little bit because I don't want to get into it. Now I'm going to get into what happened during all of your one-shots. So how you got all these weapons. Starting with Matt, after you found out that you were basically fucked over by your father and given a divine eldritch god, you were like, no, fuck this shit. You were all like, yeah, no, fuck this shit. And you all went into the astral plane and found... I think this gets into something later, but the long and short of it is Matt started to train with Archon and, like, understand who he is, and we'll get into that next session. But during one of your training sessions, Archon started losing his patience for you, and you snapped, and as you reached for a sword that wasn't there, the Blood Moon was in your hand, and you're like, oh shit, hello. Vance, for you, the Heart of the North, also being betrayed by your father, and now being basically the son of a man who used you as an experiment, but not on... It's a whole thing. You remember that session. You basically were brought to a spiritual mountain range, and you had to climb to the very top of it, going through trials and tribulations, and at the top you met a shadowy figure who pointed to the Heart of the North stuck in a stone, and they were like, oh, only the worthy can wield it and hold it, and you pulled it out, and you're like, alright, bet. Fallen Grace, Lily, yours is more sad. You went to your mother's realm, and were like, Mom, I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. And you found no one there. None of the dancing figures, none of the music, Malachi was not there. But you found your puppet on the ground, so now you have your puppet back, and you found the Fallen Grace. Dan, similar to Vance, you also went on a spiritual quest, and You saw the history of everything. You met past Karais. You met Remnant. Remnant is now the voice in the Sword of Salvation. Also, now we'll know if you watch this or not the whole way through, because that's a thing of lore that I'm probably also going to forget. They were also like, hey, if you summon this a lot, you know Malachi can see where you are, right? Because whenever the Sword of Damnation is summoned, you can sense where he is. So that's another ability you have. But yeah, you began your training to become a Karai, which we'll also get into the next session. Ziv and Sparda went on their own little adventure. They started to learn about who they were and who Mollymauk was and everything like that. Sparda created Black Flame because he's like, I don't want a sword of a tyrant. I don't want this... Because Sparda's in a weird place where he found out what happened to... He found out what really happened. He kind of was joking with Adam, like, oh yeah, you killed my grandfather. But, like, he found out he, like, just let him do it. Like, Dreadlord Sparda didn't fight back. And Sparda is like, oh no, fuck that shit, that's bullshit. And Ziv saw his entire history of like, oh, I am literally a clone of your brother. And it's not good for either of them. Now, we go to the phone. This is the lore. Where is my notes app? This might make sense, this might not make sense. DM quest. Alright. Many things have happened. This is me explaining the one-shots. Our heroes start to sense strange energies that draw them around the so you meet the Genasi, you learn of the elves, you learn of the dwarves. They live under the continent. And you start learning about the legendary weapons. Through this, you have a spiritual adventures and meet strange creatures in the land spirit. They bestow the party their new weapons. After they return, it has been 5 years. Once they see what has happened to their land, they see it covered in ruin. They learn that Malachi has made himself known to the world, and by taking over the Draconian territory, he and his men have established themselves as the Children of Void. The Dragon King has made no statements, and the Dragon Temple is now acting as a prison, where it is confirmed that Elaine, Frieza, Meliodas, Eclipse, Syra, Sariel, Mael, and the Genasi heads have been held captive. The fact that he is able to trap and imprison gods shows his power and generates fear within the people of the realms. So, Dan had an idea, and I don't know how well it'll work. You'll kind of just be coming back at different times, but you'll be back the same day from your spiritual quests. So, yeah, the world has fallen into an apocalypse. The world has fallen to genuine shit. And it is up to you guys to fix it. And I think what I want to do is I want to have you guys meet a new NPC that I'm currently working on right now, actually. And we'll go from there. But this has been JT explaining the 13 pages, plus his phone, plus all the improv stuff for all of us next session. I would really appreciate if you all watch this video. Alright, love you guys. Bye!